Hello everybody and welcome to today's stream. My name is Guy and we're going behind the screens on what I've got planned for today's session of Descent into Avernus, the Blood War. We have got some interesting challenges ahead, insofar as we are absolutely on schedule in terms of where we should be with our game plan. And so that's very exciting. It's unusual, to be perfectly honest with you, but I'm happy with that nonetheless. Today sees our characters getting to the point of this mini adventure within the bigger adventure that they're currently on. They are trying to steal the infernal machines, the war machines that drive around Avernus, and allow them, well, it's what they do with it once they've got it, I'm not sure. Will they return? Won't they return? Who knows? Now, we have obviously got the Battle of Avernus happening on our website. If you don't know what that is, have a look. It's www.greatgamemaster.com, where you can go and pledge your side for the demons or the devils. I've been watching it over the week, and it has been a major battleground, but I'm happy to say, sad to say, I'm not entirely sure. One of the two. Let's have a look. Oops, wrong button.
For sure.
No, that's still the wrong button. Where the hell is it? Where am I going? That's supposed to be the desktop. Why didn't it show the desktop? That's interesting. Oh well, wouldn't be a technical mistake if it wasn't me. Right, so I don't know why that was happening. Anyway, I'll have to talk you through it. So the idea... Oh, I know why I did that. I know why I did that. Give me a second and I'll bring up that map for you. The map of Avernus is there on the website for you to go and vote on. And the biggest challenge that we are suffering is that the devils are winning without a doubt. Now I can show you the desktop. So this is the map. You can go and vote for which region you should control, or the devils or the demons should control anyway. And all that I can say is the demons have got Graven 13-6. So they really do have Graven well in hand, but everything else is controlled. Now Avernus was contested 45-45. And I do like that, but you need to have 10 victory points above the opponent in order to succeed. So that means, and I still don't know why this doesn't display properly, but the demons, I should say, have got 0 influence and only 2 power. Whereas the devils have got 12 influence and 5 power. So they really are rocking the control of this, and they control almost all of the territories, as I've said before. Now, what does this mean for our game? Well, at the moment, it simply means that if the characters decide to align with the devils, if they want to pursue doing the devil's work, as they say, they're going to find an easier time as they move through this territory. If they align with the demons, only in Graven would they actually find some kind of solace or sanctuary, I suppose. Everywhere else they'll be persecuted. Now, in terms of the influence that's being exerted, the demons have 0 influence. So all of the independent parties that the characters might find in the wilds of Avernus are going to be more aligned towards the devils, who've got far more influence. So it's an interesting space that we find ourselves in. I absolutely thoroughly enjoyed the notion that this is going to be changing the way that the game runs based on what you guys are doing, which I think is absolutely fantastic. So that's where we are. That's where everything is. And now we have to look at what today's adventure is. Now, today's adventure, they are arriving at Fort Knucklebone. Now, Fort Knucklebone does appear in the book. I'm going to show you this very fancy cover which I got. When Wizards started releasing the fancy covers, I looked at them and I went, are they? Do I prefer these or I prefer the old ones? I do prefer these. I really do like them. They're nice and shiny. Anyway, according to the book, Fort Knucklebone is controlled by Mad Maggie, who's this ancient old night hag crone, and she uses it as a repair shop, a garage, if you like, or garage, however you want to pronounce it, for repairing of these infernal machines. The characters have been tasked with stealing one of these machines for Zariel and her forces, and it seems as if that's their intent. Now, the important thing is that Fort Knucklebone is set in the middle of the salt plains, which It's going to be tricky for them to get across, but I'm not going to make that the focus of the game. For 2 sessions now, we've had the characters moving through the gritty, grimy, horrific space that is Avernus. They've had the chain rocks, they've had the bitterness, the misery, the fatigue. They've got all of those kinds of things happening to them, so they're now aware that those things are present. And what I'm going to do is, moving from here to Fort Knucklebone, I'm going to contract that time down. We don't need, basically, Descent into Avernus to be Descent into a journey of walking around being miserable. So I'm going to contract that time. I'm going to make it some skill challenge, get them to get to the point, and then they need to decide. Now, because the devils are in charge, if they approach Fort Knucklebone and they offer to help on behalf of the devils, Maggie is going to let them do that. If, on the other hand, they try and sneak in, that's absolutely fine as well. I've populated the map. I made the map yesterday and populated it out with the various inhabitants that are supposed to be there. So this is the first mission, if you like, that is almost identical to what you would find in the book. And I didn't have a problem with that because, again, I'm exploring what led up to the book, Descent into Avernus, and I don't see the missions as being exclusive to Descent into Avernus. So let's take some questions quickly. BNAA UK says, the map on the site shows the demons with more territories on my browser. Huh, that's interesting. Let me open up that map again. I don't see why it would do that. If it does, then I'm going to have to get hold of the Web Goblin and very politely ask them why. And that was stupid. I just closed Twitch. It's a great morning here in Tokyo. We've just survived the biggest typhoon in 51 years, so things are going well here. Now, of course, my computer is going crazy. Give me a second here, folks. Don't know what's happening. And I've lost all the questions because, like a twit, I closed Twitch, and so I only get the chat. Do I get the previous chat? No, I don't. So please ask your questions again. But let me go to that map very quickly and see what's going on there. And try and figure out what's happening. Let's do that, and let's do Avernus. Is anyone else is showing that strange state? Oh. Either the voting has happened or something has changed. I'm not sure. Let's go back to this map now. I've now got them controlling. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Influence for the demons is now -2. Power is 6. Devil's influence is 14, power is 1. That's more in keeping with what I've seen before. Maybe I just needed to refresh my browser, who knows. Anyway, so now we've got this very interesting situation. Forget everything that I said before. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. You see, this is what happens when you have demons and devils as your minions. So Bleakbore, which is where the characters are going, is now controlled by demons. So Maggie will now be loyal to the demons, not to the devils. So that's interesting. Isn't there still a contestation? 48 to 49. Okay, all right, in Avernus, so that's fine. So Bleakbore is now very firmly controlled, not hugely, but firmly controlled by the demons, I should say. So that's an interesting situation. So now we're going to start facing demons rather than devils. So the characters are now going to start fighting against demons. And that's going to be interesting, because remember, one of the things that I wanted to do... Oh no, don't do that while we're on the stream. Wait for me to go here first, idiot. One of the things that I wanted to do whilst we were on... whilst we were talking about demons, is that the demons are going to compound into bigger and bigger and bigger demons as the fight goes on. So we're going to have to adjust the skill challenge to get the guys to Fort Knucklebone. Again, I don't want them to spend the session just fighting a big bunch of demons. That's not the point. It's more about getting to Fort Knucklebone and getting into that, because Fort Knucklebone is a very interesting space. If they go in with peaceful intentions, there are a couple little quests that Maggie can send them on, which is absolutely fine. And they can go and do those little quests. We've got 2 sessions planned out for Fort Knucklebone anyway, so they can go and explore that. If they try and stealth in, well, that's going to be equally as entertaining, because they're trying to stealth in. So wonderful, let them do that, and we'll run it as we need to. I think that's going to be interesting. So Right, here's some questions. AK Writer says, if you reach the outermost boundaries of the Avernus map, what happens there? Does it just end? Is there a wall? So that was a good question. That's a good question. And it really does depend on how you perceive the planes within your campaign. So for me, Avernus is the first layer, and then there's a whole bunch of planes underneath. And I looked at that and I thought, well, that does kind of make sense. We're talking, different planes of existence. At the same time, if they were next to each other as circles, that could work too. But this is all in one's head, so how does one do that? Anyway, the cliffs, to me, represent false hope. So when I was doing the map, because it's a very different map to the one that's in the book, I was doing the layout for the map before I sent it to Kaora, who made it look so pretty and wonderful. But I put the cliffs around Avernus, because if you are stuck in Avernus, you will see those cliffs and you'll go, if I can get to the top of them, I can escape. So I have hope, but they're incredibly high. And the characters don't know this yet, but they would discover that. As you climb them, they get taller. So if you somehow manage to overcome the power of the imprisoning walls and you got to the top, you would discover that there is this wind that blows over this plateau, and basically it just dissolves everything and anything. It eats through magic shields and all those kinds of wonderful things. So the walls act as hope. Ooh, if I can get over the walls, I can get somewhere else. Oh, no, you can't. You just get obliterated. So that's why I put walls around. The moment you put walls around something, you give people an objective. Get over that wall. Or do not get past this wall. One of the two. I thought that's what the Devils would do if I was designing Hell. Shambling Rabbit says, on Infernal Machines, are you intending to use the soul coins fuel concept or allow alternatives which might impact the players less? So yes, they are powered by soul coins. You're absolutely correct. And if the players want to go with the soul coins route, they're more than welcome to. However, what we also established was that you could use magical items. So if you put a magical item into that engine, it will operate just the same as if it had a soul coin. What I like about this is it's a case of saying, you could burn someone's soul in order for your machine to operate for a few days, or you could throw away this really powerful magical item which would be of benefit to you. So are you going to put a magical item ahead of someone's soul? So I do like that. I like the opportunity that one can do that, and test the player's resolve. The Great Dragon Incarnate, I will pass your comment along to the Web Goblin to see if they can do that. I'm sure they can. I'm sure they can. Next question. The Roach says, the castle behind you looks familiar. It reminds me of Moyland Castle in Germany, less than 10 kilometers from where I live, though I'm sure it isn't. Do you know what castle was modeling for the background? So you're talking about this castle here. This is a piece of software called I don't want to say Real Flow. It's called Flowscape. It's an amazing piece of software. You can buy it on Steam. And it does 3D terrain modeling, which you can animate. And this castle is actually just made out of a series of towers that come with the software. And I put them together to make it a vaguely tower castle shaped thing. So there you are. Yeah, that's where it comes from. If it looks similar to Moyland, perhaps the designers of the actual elements themselves based it off of Moyland. On Infernal Machines says, oh no, I already answered that one. Yes, so I don't see any other questions. I'm just going through the comments. No, all right, fine. Right, so today's mission, I designed the map very specifically with the intent of allowing the characters to either sneak in or not. So you will see that map when that map comes up. I'm trying to think if I can share it without breaking the stream again. I mean, today's been a disaster as it is. We'll have to see. So the map, I have designed it such that I took inspiration from the Avernus book, where they have scrap walls and things. I put barricades with those living chains, which makes them particularly awful. However, I have also made sure that there is definitely a route for them to take to get in. The biggest thing when it comes to running this kind of adventure, it is effectively a collection adventure. So they're going to go in, they're going to collect the war machine, and then they're going to go back. Because it's a collection adventure, it means that they have to get to the thing that they are trying to collect, and that's where the bulk of the adventure happens. In designing the fort, I had the great gates, the normal gates, which I now realize I actually forgot to put in, but anyway, the gates are there, and they can try and speak their way past the guards. They could try and convince or ingratiate themselves with Maggie. As the dungeon master, unless they say really stupid things, I'm going to let them do that. If they try and talk their way in, that's absolutely fine. And the reason for it is that it gives me more adventure to go with. And the guards you'll see are not particularly bright. They're vicious, but they're not bright. So there is that to it. However, I also had to plan that if they try to go in on a stealthy route where they're going to try and break in, there's no night or day, so there's no bright light, dark light type scenario, but there is always the gloom. So we've got the monk who can shadow step. Maybe she's just going to go shadow in and steal one of these giant engines and just try and drive it out in crazy chaos. Possibly might do something like that. I'm trying to position myself in the situation of the characters, going, okay, well, she can do that. Perhaps the Thorn can do something along those lines. Perhaps Jenny's character, the Warlock, maybe they'll try and inveigle their way in somehow. So I have designed a method for them to get in. Well, one method for them to get in. And that is this gigantic pile of garbage. You know, there's that wonderful scene in Star Wars A New Hope with the trash compactor. And I drew some inspiration from that, going, well, there's this giant garbage heap that actually blocks one of the walls, and they can get through that. If they so try, we're going to have some interesting little monsters in there for them to encounter. But it does allow them to get into the compound, and it also will block the sound, because the compound garbage heap frequently consumes things that have wandered too close to it. So there's some opportunities there for us to look at that. Next question, White Tiger 225 says, how tough of a fight is Maggie if the players decide to bash skulls and go murder hobo? I am curious how much of the book or you wish to protect Maggie. I don't mind if the party wants to go into all-out assault and destroy Maggie. That's absolutely okay. The demons are in control of that territory. So if Maggie starts losing, there is no reason why she won't call out to her demons and ask for help. There is absolutely no reason for that, I don't think. So I would bring that in. I would bring in consequences. But if they want to kill her, they are more than welcome to do so. They really are. She's going to be tough. I didn't change her stats from what was presented in the book. So she is tough. There are some challenge rating 13 just to get technical. If they go full on murder hobo, I think the challenge rating of just the one encounter is 13. So they're all level 6. So it would be a tough fight for them to survive that one. But we shall see. You never know. You never know. Right, AK Writer says, when I watched one of your first videos about Avernus a month or two ago, I was wondering, what if someone brought Avernus to the mundane plane, much like Mordor in Lotro? How do you like that? I think that would become very tricky. And there's a reason for it. Remember, the devils are free to act in the prime material plane, because if they die, they just reconstitute back in Avernus. If Avernus is now in the prime material, that's a very different situation. And it could be a fun one. There's no reason why it couldn't be. But by putting Avernus in the prime material, every priest and paladin is going to have to respond to it. But also every villain out there is going to respond to it as well. It's like, wait, there's a whole bunch of people who are willing to make deals with us if we protect them. Absolutely. It could make for an interesting game. It really could. I think the devils would become hyper paranoid though. So there you are. The True Krisha says, do you expect there to be a Mad Max style escape chase? I hope so. I do hope so. I haven't gone through with the players about the infernal machines as to how they work, but I think that it could be a lot of fun. I'm going to, the book has based them off of the ship mechanics that they use that we played with in Ghosts of Saltmarsh, so there's no reason why they wouldn't know what to do. The players, anyway. The characters, a different story. But yes, I would like there to be this mad chase, and if they do manage to get it, I don't think it'll be in this episode, you never know, but certainly you can expect that there will be a demon chasing them if they do get it. Queetel says collection adventure. That is a different way of saying fetch quest. Kind of cool. Yes, basically I have a saying on my YouTube channel that there's 4 types of adventures. There's thwarting, collecting, delivering, and discovering. Collecting is a fetch quest, effectively. Go and fetch War Machine. That's the basis of this one. So the next quest that they get given will not be a go and fetch. It might be a take this there, or it might be a destroy this, or it might be a go and find this out. So it just helps in terms of coming up with adventures on the fly. Right, so any other questions? No. I hope Thorn goes goat and is the hood ornament of the infernal machine. I do like that. Grizzle says, if someone were to say lose a hand, would that also cut off part of their soul to be used? Oh, you're getting into deep existential questions there, I'm afraid. I'm not sure. I think the best answer to that would be, let's do it and see what happens. Of course, there is that wonderful film Idle Hands, where the hand is possessed by the soul, so I think you could probably make an argument that, yes, you'd get a little bit of their soul. AK Writer, are you going to build in defeated villains from previous games campaigns of yours? I want to say I have. They just haven't yet explored that option. So watch this space. The Great Dragon Incarnate says, what are the Angels and other teams doing at this moment? The players are going to find out the moment they leave the territory that they're currently in and they start heading towards the Bleak Boar and the giant salt plain that they're going to, the Salt Desert. They will see the outcome of the bombardment, as well as the implications, or ramifications I should say, of the devils and demons having now fought with Bleak Boar falling to the demons. So they're going to see what's going to happen. So you will see what's happening, but basically Zariel has survived, and the reason for that is the demons are pushing in from Bleak Boar. They are now trying to basically squash the devil forces at the base of Avernus as they do that. So the devils will have to obviously forget about the church on the side and refocus on the demons that are going to be attacking them. Next question, this is for everyone. On the evil side, there is a split between lawful devils and chaotic. But as far as I know, on the good side, there are only angels. Did I miss something? I think you've got angels and PCs, generally speaking, bringing in the chaotic good side of things. So I think that's where it would fall. To be perfectly honest with you, it's a good question. I actually don't know. So if there is someone out there who wants to, please let us know. Don't feel bad. I just closed Twitch and lost the text you're going through now, says Turkey Sloth. Yeah, it happens. It really does happen. Yeah, the Fae, I suppose. That's a good answer, Null Arc. The Fae are chaotic good to a large degree. PCs are good, says BNA UK. Well, yes, I know it was a stretch. As I said it, I was like, well, it's not entirely true, is it? It is what it is. Okay, so we're going to go into the opening of the show in just under a minute. I'm certainly looking forward to today. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The players are all ready. I've forgotten to get a glass of water, so halfway through the show I will be talking like this. You understand why. Such is the penalty for waking up at 3 in the morning. Anyway, until we meet again, let's journey into Avernus. Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's show.
Why is everyone laughing? I don't know. Because I started laughing and now Michael's doing weird things with his face.
Anyway, we have
Oh no!
wonderful people here, all smiles, which is very good. Let's start. I'm working clockwise around. And Myri, how are you doing today?
Hi, we have a bunch of nice people and Myri. I'm Myri from Germany, from German YouTube channel Untitled Chapter TV. I have played so much D&D today, and lots of it in English, so I'm absolutely in the flow. Let's go. Nazaya needs tiny rest, maybe, but then the little one.
Yeah.
We're gonna go.
Yeah, tiny rest, that would be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Jormund, is Jormund tired?
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, he's kind of been wearing everything on his sleeve at the moment. But I think he definitely needs a bit of a nap. I think he's taken like 40, 50 something damage, and he's just been quietly healing himself and not telling anyone, and just been like, yeah, we're fine, we can keep going. Hi guys, if you don't know who I am, I'm Michael. I'm also known as the Tendrils Gamer, and I play this handsome dragonborn down here named Yorman. Yeah, no, definitely want to sleep. Definitely want.
There you go. And someone who has been sleeping or trying to sleep quite a lot, but I'm not sure if she's been succeeding. May, played by the wonderful Janet. How are you doing, Janet?
I'm doing great. I am Janet from World Anvil. You can catch me wherever anvils are making worlds. And I'm playing May, who is always up for a nap, but has not really been succeeding in napping so far. She's quite exhausted, I think, right now. The Avernus environment is not conducive to napping.
It isn't. It really isn't.
No.
So then we've got Jenny from Sweden. How you doing, Jenny?
Yes. Hello. I'm doing quite well. Thank you. I'm excited. I'm good to go. Ixtag isn't tired as much as like incredibly wired right now, and it's a kind of situation where they just get more and more worked up and pissed off, and then eventually they're just going to pass out.
Well, there we go. And then our ever popular goat, tree man. I don't know what you are at the moment.
He is great. He's a friend.
He is a friend. All right,
bored.
there we go. Friend Mark, how are you doing?
I'm doing fine, yes. Now, here's something I want to say. So, Thorn, okay, from my perspective at least, anyway, has been holding this person that we were fighting against last session over this pit now for a very long time. He's probably gone to sleep. He's just sitting there like this, because it's just, no one said just let him go, or just he's a friend now. He's going to guide us. He's just.
That's right.
That's
right.
it.
Yeah.
That's his rest.
Yeah.
Pick him up carefully.
Yeah, I'd like to interview Pierre, but he doesn't say very much. So...
Yorman walks up and sort of pokes Thorn a couple of times. Did someone forget to water him?
You see, it's that kind of vegetable humor that causes end wars. Anyway, until we actually
this
get
is
into
the end?
This right, enough of that. I'm going to talk about sponsors, our wonderful sponsors. You can see them scrolling down below. And of course, first off the bat, Dungeons and Dragons for giving us this crazy platform on which to play, and the wonderful system that therein lies. We've got World Anvil, worldanvil.com. They have all of our character sheets. They have the world that's being written up. You can go and read up about all kinds of wonderful things. We have our esteemed Page, Adimal, who is busy populating that world with all of the information as it comes up, so you can go and have a look at that. We've got Dungeon Fog making all of the wonderful maps that you'll see used in the game. They supply them all, and it's absolutely wonderful to use them. And Well, they don't supply all the maps. Kara supplied the big map of Avernus, so we do like that. And then we've got who else? We've got Fantasy Grounds. We've got Fantasy Grounds. Fantasy Grounds rolling 1s and 20s, or 20s and 1s, or 21s, depending on what type of dice you're using. And they're absolutely fantastic. They've been helping me prep for today's session in terms of pinning maps. You'll see some little red dots on maps and things. That's where things that I need to remember lie. Not necessarily monsters, but things, notes, and other bits and bobs. So that's Fantasy Grounds. And finally, the Leather Lair for providing me with this awesome leather jacket. So those are our wonderful sponsors. These are our wonderful players. You are our wonderful viewers. And now it's time to go to hell.
I feel like we should be saying, what?
Yeah. You find yourselves standing around that pit. I don't know why it took so long to load up the picture of the map, but nonetheless, you are standing around that large pit which leads into some kind of creature as described by poor old Keldanus. Thorn, you're still holding Var Durangi over this moor as everyone seems to be negotiating surrender. So let's pick it up from there. The great infernal sky, always slightly green, slightly red, always foggy, that dusty environment. Who is fatigued? I think it was Jormund and May at the moment. The rest of you had managed to escape becoming downcast because of this negative atmosphere that pervades everything and everywhere. So this is where we find ourselves. Caldaneus says, you want to go and get the war machine? Your best bet is Knucklebone. That's where a lot of them are kept.
And that is where the white light is.
Yes.
Correct.
That's known as Bleak Boar.
What? No, knuckle thing or bleak thing?
What?
You were talking about two different places.
Knucklebone it's a large structure. It's actually the only structure in Bleakboar. Bleakboar's the white territory. It's a salt desert. Knucklebone's in the middle of it. You can't miss it. That's where you'll find your infernal engine if that's what you're looking for.
Salt desert.
Yeah.
Very well. In which case, I believe it would be prudent if the two of you were to guide us.
We
Take you to the edge of Saltboar, of Bleakboar.
And no further? Is that what you're saying?
I'd prefer not to be perfectly
Are you
honest.
saying that's where your usefulness to us will end?
I like the way this one thinks. Huh?
I mean, if that's what you're saying, of course we could arrange something like that.
No.
Good. Shall we then?
It's not easy crossing the Bleakboar.
No.
Well,
And
it'll be
where-
a good
where
thing
is
that
that?
we have two very reliable guides to take us the way.
Oh, I have never been across the Bleakboar. You must understand. Could you put me down? Says the Durangi who's being held by Thorn. Don't drop. Excuse me. Hello?
I gently sort of touch Thorn's arm, sort of pat him a little. Thorn. Thorn.
Hey, oh. Sorry, not enough there. Did I miss anything?
Yes, you were about to
Nothing
put me
much.
down.
Oh, just
Carefully.
drop you?
No. Right here on the ground, please.
Oh, okay.
He's going to help guide us to the war machines.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
Do you think we should rest for a bit?
Yes. I would like to meditate.
Well, we can't really rest in this blighted wasteland with the heat and the light
Yeah.
and
Yeah. Hey, where do you
divine
guys
shelter in
usually
some way.
where do you guys rest?
He sort of looks over at a collection of rubble to the west, southwest. We've got a small camp. Nothing fancy. I suppose you can stay there.
Oh, it's just those rocks. Okay, well, that's fine, I guess.
Allow me to show you, he says, and he very carefully starts walking towards the area. Now, as you all walk towards it, you can see it's basically a ruined building. There's some shattered roof tiles and things. It's nothing major, but there's some bedrolls that have been laid out. There's a very curious contraption. It looks like a pot with a mushroom lid over the top of it, busy bubbling away. It's not. It doesn't smell very good, but well, that's pretty much everything in Avernus. I would say I'll take first watch, but I don't think you would let me do that.
No.
All right. Well, best of luck to you then. He lays his cape down and starts to settle down.
I'm going to put down my backpack and start digging in it, and I'm going to produce a pair of thin but rather strong-looking manacles. And I'm going to go up and I'm going to attach one of the manacles to Kaldan's leg, and I'm going to attach the other manacle to Bardaranji's leg.
Oh.
Well,
just like old times, eh? Oh yes, this does bring back very many memories. Yes, indeed.
You know.
You are carrying around manacles. I'm fine.
Yes, well, they came in handy, didn't they?
Oh, yes.
Don't begrudge a lady her pleasures, huh?
Thank you.
Her pleasures? Oh, I just thought they are prepared.
I am very prepared.
Yeoman wastes
What
very
about
little
you?
time. He picks up a large block of rubble and lays it down, sort of resting his back to kind of prop it up against a wall. He sort of takes off and unclips his heavy pauldrons and the scapular piece of armor. He's not taking off all of his armor, but obviously enough so that he can rest comfortably against the wall here.
Right, you are. And May is busy investigating the area. You're looking for what specifically? Magic items? Magic in general? Hellish stuff? Fiends? Just remind me.
My investigation is twofold. Two are the folds of my investigation. The first is that I want to see if anything's going to try and kill us. So a sort of general look around.
Right.
Staying away from chainy rocks, because that didn't go well last time.
Yes.
And otherwise, I'd like to know what the structure is and what I might expect to find here in terms of, was it to this and therefore there may be a cache here, or was it to that and therefore there may be a cache there?
Okay, so your investigation was very good. From what you can see, there is nothing unusual around that is likely to attack you anytime soon. Of course,
I was going to say that's relative in hell.
Yes, you are on the rump side of a volcano, so there is that. Yeah, but from where you are, you realize that this is actually a pretty good hidey hole because it's between two rather large spurs of rock. So unless you actually get to the tops of those spurs and look in, you're not likely to see it from almost any other area. So that's a benefit. What this looks like this was actually the foundations of a larger structure. The structure itself has long collapsed. This was probably maybe a blacksmith's hovel of some kind. You can see amongst the rubble some old abandoned iron tools and things. Is there likely to be a cache somewhere around here? Well, again, with your investigation, you're looking around. You don't see anything out of the ordinary. This was destroyed a very long time ago. So it may have been picked over quite heavily. As you're looking, though, Caldaneus reaches into his pocket and pulls out this very black orb. And he says, if you don't mind, I will now obscure us from the outside.
Can anyone check since that thing does what he says it does? Because we just almost got eaten by a building. I'm just saying.
Activate my magic eyes.
Your magic eyes reveal that the device is emanating a huge amount of divine energy.
Interesting. All right.
He takes this orb, which you realize when he was holding it up, it looked like an orb because it's so black that it doesn't really have any shape. It just looks like a circle. But as he's holding it, you realize it's actually more like a disc than a sphere, to the point that it's actually quite flat and looks like a coin almost. And all he does is he takes it, with his companion chained, they walk to the center of the building, of the ruins of the building anyway, and he snaps it in half. And as he does so, there's this brilliant white light for a moment. And he says, I bind your spirit to this place that you might protect us from all that is without. Once you have done, you are free. And this light sort of splashes out into the ground, and then this almost oily-like bubble appears around the entire structure. Well, for the next 8 hours, nothing will find us.
Interesting.
Zaya sidles up to Ixtek. What was that?
Some kind of divine energy. Some kind of coin-shaped thing.
Divine energy here.
Yes. Guy, do I have my suspicions about what this is? Because
What do you suspect it is?
me, the player, is pretty sure that this is a soul coin.
It
If
is
I
a
could
soul
speak.
coin. Yeah, you are right.
So it is a soul coin.
Yeah.
It's a soul coin. Good. Yes. No, I believe this is a soul coin.
Is there... Just... Do you call that a soul coin just because it sounds nice? Or is there soul in there?
That is a soul. It's...
I got soul.
It's
I'm super bad.
power. It's, currency down here.
Anyone can make a religion check now that this revelation has fallen.
I don't think I want to.
I suppose I've already done my...
Thorn is probably not paying much attention. He's going through his herb bag. He's looking for some specific herbs.
All right.
Guess I've justified that knowledge.
Yes. Ixtek, you know that by breaking the soul coin, the soul has now basically been consumed, and that soul will now never be able to be resurrected, return to life, will never find peace, has basically just been obliterated to create this bubble of protection.
No, he's released it, and by breaking the coin and using the power, the soul has been released from this place and will now go to its rightful resting afterlife.
No,
that's what I'm telling her.
Oh, that's
what I'm telling her.
Okay, all right.
That's what I'm telling
just
her.
to be clear, all right.
No, I understand that it's horrifying, but
right.
that's what I'm telling her.
Okay.
So... the soul is protecting us and then it's safe.
Then it's free, yes.
Oh. Thank you for telling me.
I'm just gonna do this.
Like,
Beat my 21!
Yeah. Everyone is skeptical. But she sounds genuine, so...
Yeah, I mean, I'd know. I'm the one who knows
Yeah.
things about this place.
yeah, it's fine.
It's true.
Everyone believes me.
That's fine.
I'm not even trying. Nazaya really wants to believe that.
Yes.
Right.
Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some horrifying rituals to attend to.
All right. So
I thought you were going to sleep.
I will in a few minutes. I just have to do a couple of horrifying rituals first.
All right. That's what you're doing, Thorn. You digging around for some herbs?
Yes, I want to see if I can sort of put together some kind of sleeping powder with some of the herbs that I have, like a mild kind of sedative.
Okay. Give me a medicine check.
Medicine. Okay.
All right.
Had to be medicine.
Had to be medicine. Well, yeah, because you've got the herbs. You're like, okay, well, if I put this one and this one, I know that this one makes you drowsy, and I know that this one makes it do this. So if I combine them together, it must do that. or not. Well, we'll find
Okay.
out. You.
Great! I'm pretty sure I'm successful. I've done it loads of times before. Great. Okay.
Yes.
And then I want to go over to our two little friendly. I'm gonna say slaves at this point.
I mean, you might as well.
Okay, that's what they've migrated to. All right, fine.
Yeah.
Ah,
Not.
helpful
I mean,
people that
What
we're
else
not
do
going
you
to
want to
kill.
call people that we are going to murder if they don't do everything we say? Like,
I'm just saying.
Volunteers with extreme incentive.
We're telling them that we have to do. You have to do what we say, or we're going to kill you. Is
It's
pretty bad. But anyway, Thorn wants to try and force them to sleep so they don't get any ideas.
just poison.
So, hey, just have a little sniff of this, and he just waves the powder in front of their noses.
Durangi, you are surprised, does not hold back. He's like, oh yes, please. Ah, that burns! What the hell is that? Why would you do that? This is nasty. It tastes like I've just snorted my grandmother's herb bush.
I think that was a bit much, but okay, it's fine. You should sleep like a baby now.
I sleep like someone who has got some nasty thing up their nose.
Well, yeah, that too.
Caldenea says, I would prefer not to.
Oh, I insist. You have a great sleep, honestly. Don't worry, I've done this hundreds of times before.
He really has.
Mm-hmm.
Give me a perception check, if you please, as he appears to snort the small amount that you've given him. He has indeed ingested it completely. He also coughs and splutters and then rolls over.
Great. Okay. Well, and now Thorn just wanders over and just stands.
Roots.
Just stands.
Just stands
May
there.
I can see is already sleeping, so is Jormund, and thus Nazia. I'll come to now. Nazia, are you
Thank
doing
you.
anything?
Nazia is walking over to Thorn. Are you asleep?
No.
Sorry, that was me. Sorry, that was
Bless
me.
you!
Hail Sneezer.
No.
Do you need to sleep?
Yeah. I mean, mostly, kind of, a little bit.
I think May and Jorman really... I was thinking about, who's going to stand guard?
I'll be awake for a little while longer, so I'll take.
Oh yeah, we could take turns if you want. I mean, that's fine.
Oh, yeah. You... Can you wake me pretty early?
I'll wake you up when I've gotten tired. Don't worry.
Thank you, Stack.
Sleep
then-
tight.
She goes over and cuddles up to May.
Aw.
Who's already cuddled up to Jormund. So yes, there is a general cuddling going on in that corner of the ruin. Thorn
It's more
is
pile of demon puppies.
yes.
10 technically.
Little
And you hear them snoring and it's like...
Little smoke comes out.
What does Thorn? You are the controller of Pierre. Or no, who controls Pierre? You control Pierre. What happens when you fall asleep?
Nothing. He remains under my control until the spell ends.
And how much time is that?
24 hours, I think.
Yeah, all right. Okay. Just checking, making sure. Ixtec, what are you doing? Everyone else is sleeping.
First of all, I'm gonna do an alarm spell as a ritual around the place.
Sure.
For anyone who comes to enter, just pings inside my head. And then I want to do a detect poison and disease ritual to check out the food we have.
Okay. It does not detect as poison, even though it looks like it would be absolutely terrifying to eat. But yes, it does not detect as poison.
Or disease?
Disease, it's starting to detect that it could be diseased. It will probably be very dangerous to eat in the next 2 days.
All right. I'm going to make a mental note to use the purify food and drink ritual before we eat anything. And then I'm going to open up my horrifying tome and I'm going to start writing in it, sort of keeping an eye on the environments and guarding, and I'm going to start writing. And I'm going to start writing what's happened, what we've been doing, questions I have about this place. What do I do? Help! And that. Pretty much.
All right. So you start writing in this tome of yours, and as you finish, what do you think is the biggest impression in terms of a question that you ask? Because you might ask a whole bunch of questions, but what is
That's
the
true.
most salient one?
Oh, I should have thought of this beforehand, I realise. God, let's be let's hire professionals, guy. Professionals who can play D&D professionally and prepare. No, I think generally just, will you be able to help me here? Or alternately, like, is there anything you want me to do? Like, how can... I don't know. Can I have two? Can you help me? What can I do for you?
There you go. That's the.
Is there a quid pro quo here that can be going on?
There we are. I'm not entirely sure if we're violating broadcast rules with the stuff that's going on in the top deck there with the 3 players.
It's adorable.
You asked for it, putting us so close together.
Oh yeah.
We have to share this. Look at all the room the guys down the bottom get.
Yeah, they got miles.
Plenty of room for activities.
Oh,
right.
emote.
The book starts. Well, you start to see words forming in the space on the book, and the answer is quite simply yes. You'll know.
All right. Well, I have another, I guess, hour or so of God time.
All right.
Before I wake up.
Give me a perception
Dormant.
check, if you please.
Oh goodness. Mm-hmm. Oh yes. Oh, me? Yes.
There is a momentary flicker in the white that is at the horizon to the northeast. It looks as if it's white and then it's dark for just a moment and then it's white again. And you stare at it for the next 5 minutes or so, but there's no change. It remains white.
Interesting. Right. Well, I go, just kick Jormund a little on the shoulder to wake him up. Just to poke him with my foot.
All right. Jormund, you take watch. Everybody else is deeply unhappy.
He's so warm.
Yeah.
Which is strange, given I'm cold-blooded.
It must be all the lightning
Yeah.
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 inside.
It just pulses this warm.
Yeah, it's actually static. Like, anyway. All
Right,
right, so you start taking
They wake up, their hair's like...
hairs everywhere.
Like boom mics.
I'm so sorry,
Yeoman
Guy. We're derailing everything. Sorry.
Yeoman will patrol the inside of the bubble just around its
Sure.
edge. Just
Okay.
at the ready, as it were.
And so a very long period of time passes. It's difficult to tell whether it's 8 hours, 18 hours, or 80 hours. It feels interminably long. And yet, when you are all roused, it feels as if you have not slept at all. It is horrific. Each of you needs to give me a Constitution saving throw, if you please. As your dreams have been twisted, and Darkthorn is fine, Nazia is fine. Jormund.
I'm not doing.
Jormund. Oh, we got an actual 20 there. That means we get the fire. Bring the fire. So, yes, May and Jormund, you remain
Again?
fatigued.
The two who are fatigued already.
Yes.
Yep, that's it.
Oh,
You
no.
were fatigued already, that's right. So you don't remain fatigued, you take a second level of fatigue.
Oh no!
Your speed is halved.
Do they get a long rest? Do they heal a bit?
So, no, nothing of the kind. Only those who pass the saving throw. It's not hard to pass, but apparently it's difficult. So,
More than 5, isn't it?
it is more than 5, yes.
Do we get any of our spells or abilities back?
You get your spells and abilities back, but you don't get hit points, and you are second level fatigued. Yes.
Okay.
If Desire is only walking when everyone else gets up, she gets very flustered. I said to wake me early. I need to.
You
Then
didn't
she
tell
starts
me
to
anything.
stretch.
Oh, you need to go
Stretch.
through your carters. Yes, I love it.
Meditating.
Yeoman will take a moment to look around and see who in the group is still substantially injured.
I believe that would be either you or you or you.
Well, I guess I'll take a moment to look and go, huh, that's strange. Normally after I sleep, I feel better. I'll rub my hands together
everyone
and...
is injured, actually. If I look at the...
Is everyone injured?
look
Yeah.
at the track.
Can't I use hit dice to regain some?
You fine. As a matter of fact, hang on, let me just do this, because I can't long rest just some of you, as far as I know.
Oh, that's okay. I'll remember what my my hit points are.
No,
I've
hang
taken
on,
20.
hang on. I know what I'll do. I will long rest you, and
Then damage us again.
And then
damage
hit you in the
again.
face with a
Yes.
club.
So you're on 7 and you're on 29. Okay. So
Bricks fall on May's head as she turns around.
7 and 29. There you go. All right. So you guys were long rested, except for May and Jormund. So May is slightly bashed, but not heavily. Jormund, you are the most badly injured.
Okay.
What
Yeah.
are the penalties for second level fatigue? First level
Half
fatigue
speed.
was this half. Wow, I'm slow. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. Wear full plate and then talk to me about being slow.
Oh no.
Yes. Don't get to level 5 fatigue, because that's just death. You get
Okay.
you get so tired you just die. So that's where we sit. We better get moving, says Caldenaeus. Nazaya, was there anything that you specifically wanted to do? Sorry, when they were
no.
aside from your cutras.
No, she's just going through moving meditation.
Lovely.
Extract just looks bizarrely fine. Like it's not okay to be this fine in Avernus. That they just like, good morning, doing fine, perfectly normal day.
What is wrong with you?
What?
Why are you so cheerful?
Look, if you knew my family life, you would understand.
You are talking too loud.
All right, I'll be quiet.
That is also remarkably depressing. Speaking of pressing, how about we move on?
Oui, d'accord.
Caldenaeus.
Will you carry me?
I'll Yeoman will subsist and sort of lift see if I can lift my
Don't carry me, you're already slow! Why are you saying yes to this?
because I can.
You are mighty.
She weighs about 400 pounds more than you expect her to weigh.
I did eat a
But of
big
course, as a
breakfast.
gentleman, I would never say that to. I do
I am
have
very small.
I do have gauntlets of ogre strength.
Sure. So that's why you can lift her up.
Oh, God.
Yeah, okay. Hold on. It's like I just watch these like magic sparks just sort of. What the hell?
Caldenaeus pulls out a small dagger and he says, "Are we ready to leave?"
Yes, certainly. Also, I'd like to remind everyone to let me please do a ritual on the food here to cleanse it before we try to eat or drink anything. It's not quite safe.
We should
Will
do
it
that
stop
now
the
before we
water?
leave.
Smelling like we?
All right, then.
The food's trying to kill us.
This
Everything
is
here will
Avernus.
try to kill you.
Everything is trying to kill us.
May is not trying to kill me.
No, we're
Everything
like,
except us.
You cast your ritual, and the food tastes like slightly burnt. So it's every mouthful is like, well, it can't have burnt all the way through, but then you realize it actually has, and there's that horrid sort of smoky carbon flavor to it. It's not ash or excretia, but it's definitely nasty. Definitely nasty
Not nice.
stuff. No,
Are there any like charred bits of wood under the fire?
there was no fire, but
Oh.
yeah, the rations are all just dry, chewed. Unless you want to make a fire, but Caldeneus will stop you. The bubble will collect the smoke, and we'll all die. That's pretty much the only outcome.
There are no good things here.
No. So you consume your bitter meal and drink this water, which is it's definitely slightly salty, and so does not quench thirst. It just
Like me, I am also slightly salty at this point.
Very salty.
Yeah, you and the water are one. Caldeneus takes his dagger and he stabs it into this bubble, and you all hear this very soft moan, and then he starts to cut down the side of this dagger, and the moaning starts to change into screaming and then begging and pleading, please stop, as he cuts his way down. Eventually the screaming gets to the point where it's something definitely is being tortured by this act.
What's happening?
Enough! What are you doing?
I'm opening the bubble.
Wait, it's open enough. How big are you? Stop doing that, you amateur. If it screams that much, you're doing a bad job.
What?
You've
Why is it
never
screaming at
handled
all?
this before, have you?
No.
If we don't completely open up a... Well, as a matter of fact, he pulls the dagger out, and the screaming now just drops down to subtle crying of an individual who's clearly been wounded. Be my guest. Walk through.
No.
I'll walk
Do I
through.
look stupid?
You try and walk through.
I'll sort of put my hands where he's sort of cut through.
Yeah.
Just sort of...
As you put your hands to start pulling through, something or someone definitely grabs your hand, and it feels like it's a little person's hand grabbing your one hand, and the other hand...
I'll pull away. Ah! Okay.
Yeah.
Does it hurt?
You need to give me a dexterity saving throw, please.
Am I still at disadvantage from the other fatigue?
You are still fatigued, yes?
My life.
You wouldn't have succeeded either way. with
I
those
know.
kinds of rolls. You try and pull away, but those little hands grip on like you
I've got
have
faulty
no idea.
gloves.
And yeah, these ogre power gloves are really not working so well.
Just take it. I'm being overpowered by a child.
As you try to pull away, for a moment, you see in this oily blackness, and it's only you who sees it, you see this young elf, maybe 5 years old, and there's this cut from the chest all the way down to its stomach, which is bleeding badly. It's bruised. It looks malnourished. And it simply says, please help me. As you're pulling away. The moment you pull out, it's gone. I thought you were going to go through.
Are you fine? What happened?
Something likely beyond description. But regardless, I think that this man needs to finish his work if we need to escape. I believe what he is suggesting is that the alternative is not that pleasant or pretty, to say the least.
To
Yes, Thorn?
finish.
Can I push my way past slightly? Reach out into the tear, and sort of put my hand in there to try and like pull it apart. I'm gonna ready my other hand as well. I want to try and grab the other hand, like anything that comes through. So you're saying, so when you pull apart the tear, there's like something grabs you?
You don't know that, though. It was only Jorman saw it. Thorn, none of you guys saw anything along those lines. You just saw him grab the rift and then pull back.
Okay, I'm just gonna grab the rift then.
All right. As you grab it, these little hands grab onto yours. Give me a dexterity. Oh, what are you gonna do?
Can I like? I'm only using one hand.
Sure.
So with my other hand, can I pry a little finger off my hand and slip a ring onto it?
As you grab that little finger, I need you to
Interesting.
please give me a wisdom saving throw.
Oh god.
That was a medicine saving throw.
Oh.
Thank goodness.
A wisdom saving throw,
I
please.
didn't know there were any like.
Sorry.
It was a religious saving throw.
Oh, that's better.
That's
then.
better.
Oh, that's good.
As you do so, you see that the hand that's grabbed yours is this rather corpulent looking individual, and surrounding them are hundreds of dead people, mostly women and children. And the hand, as you're reaching towards it, the figure simply says, "Save me." You continue to put a ring on the finger. What does the ring do?
It's a ring of mind shielding.
Of mind shielding.
Yeah, it has an interesting property that if you die while holding it or wearing it, then your soul enters the ring.
Interesting.
So as soon as the
Okay.
ring goes onto the hand,
Yeah.
I'm then going to just absolutely smash the hell out of the barrier. So I'm going to start hitting it.
All right, it's easy enough to destroy from this side. That's how it's
What's going
designed.
on?
So,
Like very aggressively.
What is he doing?
yes, Thorn rips into this thing.
A knife is easier.
Caldena's, that's what I thought. As this thing explodes, as you rip through the last shred, the whole thing basically just implodes in upon itself. And your ring needs to make a saving throw. So if you would be so kind, roll me a saving throw for your ring. Your ring has +5. It needs to beat a 15.
Roll high, honey.
Just a normal D20?
D20 +5. Booyakasha!
That ring is ripped. That dexterity saving
yes.
throw. My god.
That's-
It's like muscles all the way around it.
The ring lands on the ground with a dull thunk. Well, that's interesting.
Yeah, it's a great ring. I put it back on.
Give me a wisdom saving throw.
That's what you need to be like.
As you put it back on again, you hear a voice. What the hell have you done to me?
Oh, hey there.
Klingon.
Where am I?
Oh, you're in my ring now.
Who is Thorn talking to?
Oh,
Who is in Thorn's ring?
in my ring.
That sounds
I've
obscene.
seen-
I love it.
Why
Look,
did you
I-
put
I've-
the soul in the ring? It was supposed to go where it belongs.
Well, I thought it would have a nice little home here and we could take him with us when we escape.
You mean I'm
We
your prisoner?
No, I thought I'd take you out of hell.
Can we hear the other voice?
No, not
No.
at
No,
all.
no.
I'm just talking to myself.
Yeah, that's what I was figuring. It's like, I've seen Thorn talk to trees. It's This is not unusual.
Hey, don't worry, everyone. I've got a new friend in my ring. He's gonna come with us.
Oui,
Yeah,
well, whatever
sure.
floats your boat, I suppose.
I look over at Pierre and I'm like, I think the tree needs to stop making friends.
Oh yeah. Hey, Pierre. You gotta follow us now.
And so it is that you start to make your way towards Bleak Boar. I'm assuming you start to make your way
Yes,
towards
yes.
Bleak Boar. And, yes, May?
I would just like to mention that we have not yet asked these people any questions. So I would like to ask them some questions as we walk.
Sure. What
I
question?
would like to know how long it would take us to get there.
Oh, you have not been to Avernus before, huh?
Surprisingly, no. This is my first time in hell.
It is common mistake, yeah? So, What do you think is the most important thing to remember whilst you are here in Avernus?
The most important thing for you to remember is that there is nothing common about me. But in Avernus is that everything wants to kill you. Including you, in fact. En fait.
That is a common fallacy made by people who have been here for too short a time. Avernus does not want to kill you.
Huh?
No.
It wants to make you suffer.
Ah, yes! You are the winner of today's prize. Yes, well done, he says. You win a ankle without a manacle. Like maybe me? He says.
I already have 2 of those.
Oh, well, what a pity. Maybe you want to give it to someone else, like me.
I'm not going to... No. I don't know what Ixtec did with those.
I think everything with the ankles is fine as it is. So what you're saying is that distance is not a constant thing here, no?
That is exactly what I am saying, yes. So,
D'accord.
as a result, if it's going to take us 3 weeks, it's going to take us 3 weeks. If it's going to take us 5 minutes, it will take us 5 minutes. Which will hurt more, is the real question.
Which brings me to my next question, which is how many things are going to try and kill us on the way?
That is a very good question. Very good question.
Oui.
You may or may not have noticed there's currently a war going on. Well, maybe not. I don't know. How long have you been here for?
Too long.
In which case, you must have noticed the war, yes?
We do not like to mention the war, but we.
We saw some creatures mounting some form of offensive against a small cathedral not too far.
Well, whatever that was, there's a big war going on. You got to choose your side, huh? At the moment, it's the devils who are winning, so we work for the devils, yeah? But these things change all the time. It totally seems to be at the whimsy of the great gods.
Wait a minute, huh? So there's the devils on one side, and then, of course, on the other side is...
Oh, the demons. Yes, they're very much worse than the devils.
Intéressant.
Oh,
Well, it's a matter of perspective, really.
Sure, very much so. Yes, very much so. Would you all be quiet? We've arrived. And lo and behold, you are at the edge of what appears to be the White. As you were talking, the conversation, you seem to have covered several hundred miles or half a mile. You're not entirely sure. But there is a very strange border that you have arrived at. Instead of the hard red rock that has infused bones and corpses and pools of black liquid all over the place, in front of you is this grey, jagged, salt-like structure which stretches away in all directions as far as you can see. We have arrived at Blickbar.
Oh, well, that was quick.
You see?
I don't like that.
Oh,
How do we get in?
Caldenaeus steps onto the crystal structures. It's flat. It's not a wall. It's
Oh, sorry, I
absolutely
thought you
flat.
meant like a structure,
Yeah,
like
so,
a...
no. It's
salt
literally
layer.
the salt crystal has started to stretch out over the
right.
red rock.
I'll actually, in that case, lean down and sort of try to grab a fistful of the earth here.
All right. So
This is always happening to me, isn't it?
It is basically happening to you. I need you to give me a wisdom saving throw, please.
Go it. And of course, I've got disadvantage because yay for being tired.
Life is great.
Stop touching things!
Did 14. You're okay. You grab a bunch of these crystals.
I'll bag it.
Sure.
Get a little pouch and put it in there. It kind of almost reminds Yorman of back home, growing up, of course, adjacent to the very deep deserts. It's kind of, you know,
yeah.
It's very nostalgic, I guess.
It is indeed. You realize once you finish putting these crystals into your pocket that the scales on your hands have been quite badly roughed and scuffed up, as if you were gripping sandpaper. Mademoiselle LaRouge, you are making insight for what?
Mademoiselle LaRouge is wondering why in Avernus there are buildings, obvious signs that people used to live here, although it's hell. Demons don't seem to set up shop, build homes, that kind of thing. And a large salt plain, which doesn't really make sense considering the geography of volcano and everything else. She's trying to figure out what's happening. She's quite tired. So she's thinking about everything at disadvantage. But yeah, these are the wheels turning in her head because that's going to help her prepare for what could be coming.
There you go. All right. That's what you have in your head.
Looking at the scales and how it's been sort of scratched and torn, Yorman's going to bring this to everyone's attention. The white sand here seems to be rather coarse, almost sharp. What's everyone's footwear like?
Dirty.
Non-existent?
I want to use my magic eyes.
I probably wouldn't walk on this barefoot if I were you.
Oh. Oh.
Just a point of clarity, it is not the sand. It is the crystals, formed by the tears of all of those who have ever had to journey into Avernus as souls. The tears of the sinners, they call it.
Oh.
And you know this to be true, or you have heard a story that it is true?
Oh, this is as close as I have ever come to the Bleak Bottle. I do not wish to go any further. But I will, obviously, for obvious reasons. He says, looking at the manacles. Your
Extec will
detect
fish out a small glass vial and just carefully gather a bit of the salt in the vial and just put it back in the bag.
All right.
Why does everyone want a piece of this?
Well, it's a good
I'm
memento
sure this
to
will
take
come in
home and
handy.
give to the folks. You see, it's like, oh, look, you got a bit of the Bleak Ball.
You never know when you might
I
need some
still
coarse
don't
sand.
get
Detect magic.
Crystal.
Detect magic. This whole area glows faintly.
Of
Necromancy.
makes sense.
Yeah.
It does.
I will carefully try to step into the salt bowl.
Okay. Everyone starts to carefully tread on this stuff, and you realize that, Ixtec, you do. Nazir, do you start walking on it, and are you wearing boots?
Nazaya's wearing soft leather boots for climbing and quick movement, and she turns to Thorn. You can change. Can you change into something small enough to carry you? A tiny Thorn?
Yeah. Well, let's see what happens to my feet first, I guess.
Do you want to find out that it eats your feet and then change?
Yeah.
I don't understand any of you, I think.
Wisdom saving
sure.
throw as you put your bare root onto the surface.
Am I fine?
Yep, you're fine.
Oh, good. Yes, I'm fine.
Yep, you're okay, Thorn. It
Okay,
crunches,
fine.
and it's definitely spiky. And you realize that if you were to fall on this, you would probably cut yourself.
Ooh, it's a bit sharp, but it's okay.
Well, the offer stands.
Yorman in his metal boots just sort of...
Yeah, you crunch over it.
Hey,
you
that's not
wearing
bad.
footwear, I think.
Yeah, I'm wearing shoes. They are made of relatively light wet leather, and they are magic shoes. I don't know if that gives them any protection, but they are magic
They are
shoes.
magic
So
shoes.
I poke my toe gingerly into the sand and go, I do not like this.
Does anyone want to get on my shoulders? I mean, I can carry someone across.
It's so
Fine,
tempted to have
thank
Yorman
you.
climb up. Just be like, Yorman.
Giant blue lizard hanging off your shoulder.
May will blink
No.
at you like this.
Okay, so Iztec, do you want to get on?
No, thank you. I'm quite alright, thank you.
Oh, okay.
I would like to. I am
Oh,
tired.
was that the blinking thing? I didn't understand. I thought you were maybe sleepy or.
I am very sleepy.
Oh, okay. Well, you can go to sleep on my shoulders. It's fine. You're not heavy.
Thank you. You are such a nice tree friend.
It's a bit prickly, but
That's okay. The floor is also prickly. Everything is prickly here. I hate this
Everything.
place. Okay, she
Don't
climbs up
understand.
very dexterously and just sort of falls asleep on the branches.
Oh.
You are starting to make your way very slowly across this terrain. As you do, Caldenaeus says, "What's your plan?"
I'm sure we'll formulate a plan once we see what this place looks like.
We go to Knucklebone. There we find an infernal engine, liberate it, take command of it, and, well, preferably use it in some way, shape, or form to find a way back home.
How guarded are these things?
Fort Knucklebone is one of the few facilities here in Avernus that will actually repair an infernal war machine. It's very well guarded. You have not heard of Her Grace Maggie.
Maggie.
She is the owner, I suppose you could say, of Fort Knucklebone.
is this a devil?
No,
Oh, okay, that's new.
I believe she would slay anyone alive who described her actual nature. I wouldn't raise it in conversation if I were you.
Noted. Okay, prickly.
Are we talking gooey, pointy?
As you start walking away from the edge of the Saltmarsh, you are all aware of someone saying, "Hello, excuse me."
Where?
Desire looks around. Not good. No, there are no shadows.
No, there are no shadows. Damniar stands at the edge of the bleak boar, the devil that you saw in the cathedral. I was just curious. I couldn't help but notice you're heading into that territory. We have not finished our discussions yet, and I was just wondering if you do truly desire to want to go in there.
Who called this guy?
What? We
Do
can't
not
hear
get
you.
summoned,
Come
lady.
closer.
What?
He looks at the very
What?
edge. I'd rather not, actually. However, I would like to make a deal with you involving money.
Yeoman is going to walk right behind them. He is going to reach into his pocket, pull out a scepter, rod of rulership.
On Damnios.
Both of them.
And do
What do you
not
mean both of them?
exist.
Damnios and what's his name? Caldenaeus.
Caldenaeus and Durangi are your two slaves.
Oh,
Damnios is the
They're
devil
with
that
us.
you met in the cathedral.
oh, him. Oh,
Yes.
The one with the skull fetish.
I thought he was the
remember?
other dude that was. No, I don't. I do not do that. Holy hell! No.
Wait. That's
Yeah, that would've gone-
chutzpah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just step right back there. Fancy meeting you here.
Yes, what a coincidence. Almost as if it was planned. Now, to my proposal, it would be much easier if you were to come back here.
I keep walking. What? I can't hear you.
I'm in the tree, so I'm going with the tree.
I'm staying with Jormund.
No, no one wants lots of money.
What exactly kind of money are you talking about?
Ah, well, if you would come back here and be a bit more social, then
Look, if you want to
perhaps-
talk to us, then come for a walk. We have much to travel.
You see, I prefer it on this side, and I'm sure someone, he says as he holds up a bottle of wine and 2 glasses, would help me drink this wine from the surface, which definitely doesn't taste like it's been in Avernus for too long. It's got a
Why
lovely
don't you want to?
nose. He starts
don't you
pouring
want-
himself a glass.
Yeoman turns. Yeoman walks back.
Ah,
Crunch, crunch.
May is
crunch,
just like
crunch.
slowly turning Thorn's head.
Yeah.
You have no idea. Yeoman was born a nobleman, and he wine, food, they're important things to Yeoman.
Finally. Now I can see what you truly desire. That's so much more interesting. Right, so who does go back to him?
I'll follow Jormund with some annoyance, knowing that I've got to look after him.
All right.
I mean, I'm being slowly
Nice.
turned around by May. I mean, I'm going back.
As we walk, actually, I'm going to put a hand on Jormund's shoulder, and I'm going to sort of start whispering things in Infernal and sort of slight smoke coming out of their lips. And I'm going to cast Guidance on Jormund.
Oh,
Which,
I thought you were passing
will
secret messages. I'm like, you are aware it's a devil, right?
Yeah, no. You can, once in the next minute, you can roll a d4 and add it to one ability check.
Yeah.
Of your choice.
In this case,
It's a
very useful.
cantrip.
That's very useful. So he waits for you to arrive. Is Nazaya going closer?
If May is going back, definitely.
Okay.
Otherwise, she's looking back and forth between Jormund and May.
Yeah, I'm steering my ride this way, like towards the wine.
Towards
My
the
ride
line.
is really nice. I'm just kind of going with it.
Okay, we're going back now.
Oh,
wait.
hey.
I.
This desert was
fine.
smaller than I thought.
So he waits for you all to arrive. I need you all to give me perception checks, if you please.
Here. Is it a perception check based on vision?
Yes.
Vision. I'm using my glasses.
Nazaya got a 17. 15 for Thorn, 7 for Ixtec, 11 for Jormund.
Oh.
Just waiting on May.
It was doing things.
Oh no.
As you start to move forward.
Ooh.
There we go. So
Nice.
the 3 of you that got 15 or above realize that Durangian Caldeneas have taken the opportunity to start running into the I nearly said salt marsh.
Hobbling, I would say.
Yeah, they're doing the 3-legged man hop. But it doesn't take a genius to work out. They've obviously escaped from many prisons in their past, as they're pretty good at doing this run hop thing.
Mm.
So they're going.
No, you don't.
Right, wine says.
I'm gonna storm back and I'm gonna start throwing Eldritch Blast at them until they stop.
Yeoman turns. Yes, please.
Just the background just pew pew pew.
What is everyone else doing as Ixtec starts opening up this volley of death?
Slowly inching away from Ixtec.
I told them.
In another circle. I'm just walking like backwards and forwards now, just very slowly in a very like large turning circle.
I can almost see May sort of reaching out, trying to get a wine glass every
No,
time the
no.
circle gets close. All right.
I'm
So-
also patting through with my hands.
Make your attack, Ixtec.
Yes. Oh gosh, I have to open it up. There we go. No.
It hits. Do your damage.
Yes.
Ooh.
12 points of damage. Were you firing at Var or were you firing at Caldenes?
Bar.
Blimey! Ouch! He shouts.
Do they-
as
do they stop?
They continue to running. They continue to
No,
run.
I'm gonna keep firing until they stop.
Make your next attack. It hits. No, it doesn't hit.
Doesn't it?
Bounces into the ground. Let me just double check. No, his armor class is higher than that.
Yeah.
They continue to run. All right, so they're busy dashing as fast as they can. Jormund is getting wine with...
I have 120 range on this thing. I can keep firing for a while.
Yeah, they can only move 80 feet in a round, so they're going as fast as they can for a hobbled bunch of individuals. Is it 80?
80
no, it's
feet
not
in a
online.
round?
Sorry.
That's a lot.
It's 40, it's 40 feet. They can go 40 feet round.
Manacled?
Yes.
It's like, what are they?
Hobbling?
They've somehow got
super
faster.
round.
than-
Like I said,
Damn,
they're
I knew it
proficient-
wasn't what manacles
proficient
of speed.
Three-legged man-based moves. All right.
Oh, just don't give them a potato sack. They'll be just
No.
out of it in a second.
And if you put an egg in a spoon, they are...
Oh, no! No,
lightning.
don't
That's
even
just giving them
think it.
artillery, you know.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Don't even think
All
it.
right, so they're continuing to run. Yes, as the rest of you are busy trying to get to the wine or drinking the wine. The wine has never tasted better, Jormund. It is the most... It's full-bodied. There are notes in this wine that would make a composer weep. It is absolutely the ultimate bouquet, and that's the limit of my wine knowledge, so that's as far as the description goes. But it is absolutely amazing in terms of it rolls off of the tongue. There's oak, there's definitely chocolate in there as well. There's undertones of honey. It's just everything that you could possibly want in a wine. And you are now no longer fatigued
Oh, huzzah!
Ooh.
as you drink this nectar of the gods,
Nice.
as it were. Nazaya
Messiah
is sort of...
gets her courage together and follows Ixtec and says, "Do you think that's worth it?
I made a
as
promise,
Ixtec is
my
busy
darling.
throwing-
You know, the other ones are probably going to make a devil deal. Why you're doing this? You said no devil deals."
I've already told them the consequences of that, and if they do at this point, it's their own fault. Ixtec's gonna start walking while throwing things instead of walking after them.
I'd also like to flash back to episode 1 where we're on the noose with Ishtek and the angel's saying, "Work for us and we will let you free." Yes, anything, whatever. But I haven't told you the deal yet. Yes, I agree to absolutely everything. Yeah, condemning us for deals.
Look, that wasn't a promise. That was a desperate grab.
All right. Thorn, are you going to choose a direction now?
I don't know. Which way are we going, May?
Why don't we stop next to the man with the nice wine? It's I look down at him, full of nitrates, phosphates.
Delicious nutrients.
That sounds good.
Oui, it should
Yes.
be delicious.
Drinkies
One's
all
got what
round.
lamb to
Yes,
eat.
here we are. A little for you, a little for... He seems to be pulling wine glasses out of thin air and filling it up and distributing. So as
I'm
That's a good
curious to know
point.
where these are coming from.
Right, good. Ixtec, throw out another arcane bolt, if you please. Oh, arcane blast. It bounces off of the salt and slams into the leg of Var. Do your damage.
Whee!
6 points of damage.
Can you get another one?
Yep.
Alright.
He's now limping. He's like, stop! Oh! You hit him.
I'll stop when you stop.
Another 9
Wait,
points
which
of damage.
leg? That's important. Is it the,
Yes.
the tide leg or the other leg?
Yes.
If it was the tide leg, those bad boys are going down.
It's his other leg.
Oh.
So
Honestly, the other one would have to drag him if he
Yes.
goes down either way.
he's-
So
now he has
they're-
2 limps.
They're definitely getting to that point. They're now 80 feet away and continuing to run.
I'm
so-
doing my 30 feet around as
Trying
well.
to
so
keep up with them. I need you to give me a perception check, please, Ixtec.
yes, this is a thing that I can do.
You've walked forward 30 feet and you're busy firing off these blasts and things. And Nazaya, are you keeping up with Ixtec?
Yes, she's inching on behind Ixtec. who's moving
You can
incredibly slow for her
You
taste.
can give me a perception check as well.
Yeah. Huh.
You're focused on these blasts of red energy that extend
Yes.
hurling at these individuals as they're running away. You, however, look back to see where May is. They look like they're a mile away. They are really, really, really small now on the horizon. That's what you notice, Ixtec.
He's almost down. I'm sure we can. I'd stop where I am, but I'm going to keep firing until that master goes down.
All right. Back to the three of you with the wine. You are no longer fatigued, May. And Thorn, you are no longer fatigued if you were fatigued. This just tastes like wine to you, but at least it doesn't taste like evil, nasty, horrid, putrefied, muck. It actually does taste like it should taste. Now, a little someone told me that the current plan is for you to go to Fort Knucklebone. Is that correct?
And who told you that, huh? You've been speaking to people behind our back.
Devil
appears
never
with
tells.
wine.
Yes, I have given you the wine as a show of good faith. After all, those who drink from the same bottle are all comrades, are we not?
I have never heard that before.
Nor have we
have
seen
now.
you drink.
Oh, he just swigs out of the bottle. Absolutely amazing stuff. Now to the deal that I proposed. You're heading to Knucklebone. That's brilliant. That's wonderful. And I wish you the very best of luck on your endeavors. There is just one teensy thing I'd like you to do for me. And in exchange, I will do something for you. A small deal, if you so choose.
And what is that?
I just want you to, put it delicately, cut the head off of Maggie.
Ah oui.
Yes. Make her
And,
very dead.
Mm-hmm.
And what will you do for us?
In exchange, I will make sure that the devils leave your friends in your little church alone.
Did you say friends?
Well, you seem to be working for them since you haven't made a deal with me. I'm not judging whom you choose to make your friends, even if you have chosen the wrong side, but I'm willing to let them survive for longer if you help me take out Maggie.
Look, that's I think I speak for all of us when I say that's a bit of a swing and a miss when you call them friends. They're simply the better part of the worst deal that we've gotten right now.
No.
So you'll need something
I'm
a little
the
bit better
part
than
of
that.
the worst deal. You just haven't gotten it yet, but you could have it at any time. Now, back to the deal at hand. Whether they're your friends, your colleagues, your allies, or just people whom you happen to have arrived in hell with, who knows? I will make sure that the general who's currently laying siege to them stops bombarding them before he destroys them completely, if you will simply cut the head off of Maggie and bring the head to me. Yes, mate.
I have a question. En fait, I have several. What
Ask
is
away.
Maggie?
I think she was once a night hag. More like a night... No. Yes. A night hag of some kind. She used to linger around some sea or something before she came down here and started her little operation. Yes. Yes.
Okay, and why do you want her dead?
She's working for the enemy.
The enemy being...
The demons, of course.
There are so many, I can hardly keep track. But, intéressant. When you say that you will stop bombarding, does that mean you will not kill them, or merely you will stop killing them that way and kill them in a different
I
way.
have some little influence with the general who's currently trying to prove himself loyal to Bell at the moment. And if I ask him to stop bombarding and to just continue his siege, I'm sure he will comply. He does owe me a favor.
En fait, that is not what you said first, but good that we have that clear now. Très bien.
It would
I'll tell you
mean
what.
that whoever's in that cathedral owes you a favor.
I'll tell you what. If you can sweeten the pot a little bit, I tire of the food and drink from this place. Provide us with ample resources to not have the disgusting, vile, putrid, whatever counts for offal here on a daily basis, provided I could see myself to making a deal of this sort.
Excellent. Of course I'll do that. Only the finest for you down here. What are friends for, if not to make sure that your belly is full of food that tastes yummy? He says as he pours wine for everyone. Ixtec, you may fire.
Fire and ready.
My fire and ready.
He's a cowboy.
Bolt sails out, and you watch. It does clip Var. Do your damage.
Pew. Watch this fully armed and operational battle warlock.
Yes, it sails across. As it collides with Var, he seems to start stumbling,
What?
and Caldaneus seems to leap sideways as far away from him as he can. And Var just sort of reaches upwards and then is immediately, his whole form just turns black and seems to desiccate down into the white sand or the white crystalline structure, if you so like.
Interesting.
What
What
did you do?
I'm not sure. That doesn't usually happen.
You are not sure. You're blasting people with your magic and you're not sure what's happening.
Because we're in Avernus. Everything's strange here. What is Caldenace doing?
Running faster.
Damn it.
No, Messiah steps in front of
Messiah.
Ixtec.
Why?
Because this is not... Oh, no, looking over Ixtec's shoulder, does she see that the other ones are very far away?
Yes.
Ixtec, turn around.
Yes, I know. They're very far away.
Ixtec,
Why?
if you keep following them, just because you want to keep your stupid promise of killing them, I will leave you here. And you are here then alone in the sword flats in hell.
You know, I'm not so sure that that would be the worst outcome for me. But, no, I've promised that I would stick with the rest of the group.
And
I
that
wasn't
promise
going-
outweighs the other one.
I wasn't going to run any further. As you can see, I've stopped. I was just going to kill that man because he tried
He's going to
run.
die anyway out here. You
Don't
killed
know
his
that.
friends. Let him go.
Yes, well, I didn't get to kill his friend in the way I wanted, and in a kind of useful manner.
Killing is not useful. Killing is a tool.
Oh, honey, let's just go back to the others.
You
Also, I should have 10 temporary hit points for murdering that man
There you go.
because of my Dark One's blessing.
Yes.
They're really young, but they still know what condescending sounds like.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry. I'm not sure which one of us has had more experience of murder at this point, but I think that
I can tell you exactly how many I've killed.
Really, how many have you killed?
By now, 18.
Oh, let's just go back.
The conversations that psychopaths have with one another. So
Oh,
Oh, little baby.
I
Yeoman
think
sits there pondering his time in the army. Huh.
right. So back to the three of you. As
So, to outline the deal in full, we are to specifically remove the head of this Maggie,
Yes.
the night hag at Knucklebones. You will end the bombardment of the cathedral and provide us with daily sustenance of a high quality, as deemed by us, obviously.
Yes.
And I think that is a very reasonable request, and I think that there is enough benefit, at least, in that.
I have a little question. Say that we would say, okay, we kill the Maggie, we take off her head, whatever, and then we don't manage to. What happens then?
I'm sorry, I've drunk too much wine. You kill Maggie, you bring me the head.
No. We say that we will, and then for whatever reason we cannot. And then
You've broken the deal.
But what if you fail to provide your end? Then you have broken the deal. So what happens then?
That's not likely. You
No,
see,
but just to say, it's very important to know exactly who you are getting in bed with. No?
That's true. But you do agree that we will make a deal. We just need to iron out the finer details, yes?
I have not said that yet.
Your companion's close enough. Someone roll a d6. The devil basically, the bottle of wine disappears, and instead he's now holding this rather curious looking doll. Kind of looks like a child. A little human child, and scribbled all over its face with these horrid blank eye sockets where the eyes should have been, and all over its body and its arms are words written in Infernal. Oh, I forgot. Some of you don't read Infernal. He shakes the doll and suddenly it's written in Common, and it's the terms of the deal inscribed all over this young doll-like shape. Now, as you said, if you don't succeed in taking the head of Maggie and bringing her back to me, then you owe me... Well, you owe me. If I don't manage to get the bombardment to stop or provide you with succor every day, then I have broken the deal and I owe you a favour, which you can call upon at any time. Failure to then perform said failure on both parties' behalves would result in either party being reduced to a soul coin in the possession of the other party. Are we in agreement?
I do not like this deal.
It's the one that you've started to make.
I have not done anything. I have only asked questions. Huh? I have not said yes to anything because I would not say yes to some things that I do not know everything about.
It's all in plain black and white.
Yeoman looks over it and he says, "Very well. You say that the debt is owed if we cannot kill Maggie, and a favor will be asked. I stipulate here and here that the favor to be requested is one that can be attained potentially without the loss of life."
Killing Maggie runs the risk of loss of life. So to then have a favor that is less of the act that's requested...
No. I simply mean that a risk of a loss of life is acceptable, but one cannot request something that leads to certain death.
Agreed, on both parties' behalf.
Correct.
Anything else?
That once the deal is concluded, that there is no stipulation that a secondary or cursory contract can be formed after the litigation of this has concluded.
I like your mind. Yes, of course. Once the deal is done, it's done. And then we're free to make whatever kind of deals we so choose after that.
And lastly, the succor, as it's stipulated here, will remain for any and all duration spent by the people here within the contract and their souls whilst on the plane of Avernus.
Whilst the deal is in effect, yes.
And
Is
when you
that
say
to
worst
imply-
deal... Pardon?
Oh, sorry.
Approval?
I was going to
No?
say, will that imply that once we kill Maggie, we would no longer receive the food?
Well, of course. The deal will be done. Once you've brought her head to me. And don't worry, I will find you anywhere that you might be in Avernus.
Well, I would much prefer that the food and sustenance be the end result of it for a period of time, as opposed
How
to
long?
it being for, let's say, 50 years.
Done. Next.
I believe that's everything I would require from this particular deal, unless there's something that
A
you
pen
think would sweeten the
falls in
pot
his
for.
hand. He holds the doll forward. Just
Thorn?
stab the child wherever you want to.
One moment, please.
But of
Forgive me,
course-
I do enjoy your company. Why would I give it up so quickly? Say that we have the head. How do we find you?
If by some strange reason you don't find me immediately, because I'll be waiting, I'll be watching, if for whatever reason, then simply take the head to Avernus. He points at the giant volcano. You can't miss it. Bell will be expecting it one way or another. But there is almost zero chance that you wouldn't find me, or that I wouldn't find you, I should say, the moment you have her head.
Thorn, you've been quiet.
I think as you both look at Thorn, his eyes are open, but you can very softly hear snore. He's fallen asleep.
Very well. I will take the needle,
Yep.
and I choose to stab the small child voodoo doll in the neck. Kia!
As you do, it wiggles slightly, and the whole thing sort of pulls towards its little pudgy hands, pull towards the needle pen that you've jabbed in its neck, and then it stops moving.
Delightful.
Mademoiselle Le Rouge,
Oui.
are you going to sign, or are you just going to let Jormund be the beneficiary of the deal?
I look at Drummond.
It is Chateau La Saltmarsh. He says,
It is a
and
very
another
delicious
bottle
wine.
appears in his hand.
Je ne sais pas. I will wait for the others. We will see.
The patience of a saint. That's what I have. The patience of a saint. Ixtec, you and Nazaya can give me a perception check, please, before you journey back, or get back, I should say. Ixtec, you don't see anything out of the ordinary. Nazaya, as you are making your way back to the group, you are looking around, observant, aware, and you start to see maybe 10 miles, 5 miles, 1 mile, quarter of a mile. It's so difficult to tell because it almost looks like a mirage. A group of very odd-looking creatures. Misshapen, slightly warthog-headed, slightly multi-armed, some have hooves, some have claws, some have spines. It looks like a mongrel collection of bits. And they seem to be patrolling, generally heading towards where the group is. You're not sure on the distance.
Oh. Exact, move.
What? What?
There. Something else is trying to eat us.
As I
Soon.
pointed out, you see them. Definitely demons of a variety have gathered together and are making their
Oh.
way towards the group.
Goodness. Those are demons. That's interesting. Let's hurry up. Yes, you're quite
Yes.
right.
You
The two of you
hitch those
arrive.
ropes and run.
Yes, I'm moving.
Zaya starts sprinting towards the rest of the group.
Expect just sort of jogs.
Yes. Yes. Luckily, the two of you arrive to find to find Jormund and May drinking wine. Thorn appears to be asleep.
I'm still on his head, incidentally.
Yes. What was the name of the devil that he wanted me to find for him? Bag, beag, bag, bog, boo, 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 boo.
Hey, Thorn! Thorn, wake up! Wake up, Thorny! Wake up! Time to wake up now!
Hey, are we done?
Hey, là. So, this pointy gentleman had a question for you.
Hey.
Since you don't seem interested in my deal, how about we add in a little extra to sweeten the pot, as
Jormund, really?
Jormund would indicate he'd like to do. It's
With
an
honey?
annex to the deal that you've already signed, Jormund.
What deal? What?
Oh.
You signed a deal?
Yes, he did.
Well, strictly speaking, I didn't sign anything.
Oh, no, you did. You
No.
held the pen.
I didn't. Well, what I mean is, I didn't sign. I did make the deal. He's not trying to dispute that. He's trying to,
Be petty.
Yes.
His hair just
Remind me
Look,
of the
breakfast-
name of that
Breakfast was
devil you were
abysmal, and I
after.
wanted to complain to the manager.
We can't leave you alone for 5 minutes.
Oh, Tree Boy, what was the name of the
Oh,
devil you
oh,
were after?
the devil I want to find. Oh, Barzak.
Barzag, that's right.
Yep.
That's right. Would it be of interest if we put that in as part of your deal? You bring me the head of Maggie, and I'll help you find Barzag. Not help you find. I will tell you where he is.
Oh,
Pardon,
Yeah.
I have a question. Of course. So if he brings you the head, then you help him, and if German brings you the head, you help him.
Absolutely.
So we are signing this deal against each other, is what you're saying.
Against each other, with each other, you'll derive the same benefits.
oh no, I can't do that. Jorman, you can have the head. I'm okay. I don't need any more.
Well, in that case, then, what if we do a completely separate deal? I'll tell you where Barzeg is, in exchange for what?
What if you offer him Maggie's arm?
I'm only interested in her head, I'm afraid.
Damn.
And I have that with you, Jorman.
So I don't really want to make a deal with you. He leans in very close to Damfire and just says, "I don't really like devils."
Very well, Kindling. We will come back to this deal.
I
about
snap a little
Barzeg.
thing off and hand a little twig to him. Oh, you want some?
How very nice. Now, since your companions are here, to bring you up to speed as to what Jormund has signed up for, if you bring me the head of Maggie, I will make sure that for the next 50 years, you are provided with only the nicest of foods and the most exquisite of wines upon which to feast. And I'll make sure that the devil army that is currently bombarding your precious Zariel's cathedral stops bombarding the cathedral. Jorman has signed already. All you need to do is finish and sign as well to get the benefits.
I don't think it would be a good idea if I signed anything, no.
No. Who wants to eat nice food and drink good wine whilst down here? Life's little pleasures are so unwarranted.
I walk over to Nazaya. Actually, I slide out the tree first of all.
Climb out.
I climb out of Thorn's head. And I give his back a little stroke. And I walk over to Nazaya and I give her a big hug. And I say, "You will not sign anything, d'accord?"
I will not.
No.
And neither will you.
I give her a little kiss. I think that I would like to sign, huh? I think it sounds interesting. You seem like a very nice gentleman.
No.
You've answered my questions.
No.
He holds
You just
up
want to
the
get in his
ball.
pants.
You want to sign?
I don't know. Do you think that I should?
Desire steps in front of me. No, she doesn't.
Why aren't you the feisty one? You're so green, too. How lovely. My time here is limited. Things are arriving which I really don't want to fight. So if that is it, Jormund, you and I have a deal. I wish you the very best of luck. I hope the food and wine is to your liking. As for the rest of you, well, I wish you the safest of journeys, and I'm sure we'll be making a deal soon.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye. And Thorn walks off.
No. And me the scary little child.
You're going to sign?
No. Zayas doing a weird little dance to stay in between the devil and me.
The devil is holding the child. He looks at Nazaya. You really are a good little watchdog, aren't you? Unfortunately, suddenly the doll is no longer in his hand. It's now in May's hand. I don't need to actually hand it to her. If she's going to sign, it's of her own choice.
How close is he?
5 feet?
I jump forwards and I hit him in the face. This is just...
Hey!
No, you can't do that.
You can't do that, says...
Yeah, this is very stupid, but...
All right, I'm just, let me,
Finding his level.
I'm going to just bring up his character quickly. And,
Bye!
you are going to leap at poor old
Mary.
Damnifer.
It's nice knowing you.
All right, make your attack. He's not expecting it.
You sure I should not just roll up a new character? You know what?
You're about to discover something.
Sorry, it froze on me for a second.
All right.
Okay. Then I'm just going to roll. How do I do it if I just want to roll it in the tray?
Just in the chat box. There we go.
No,
14.
wait.
What were you trying to do to him?
Just straight fist to the nose, to his very smug face.
He backs away very quickly. My, what a temper you have. Is that how you treat your friends, really?
You are no friend! Nazaya looks very orcish at the moment.
I am hurt, my little troll-blooded friend.
I will hurt you!
I have no doubt.
Stay away from my cousin!
I stay away. Speaking of, cousin, you have the doll in one hand, and mysteriously in the other you have this rather sharp-looking pen-type needle. What are you doing?
So I look the doll up and down while this is going on, and I read through all the small print.
Yes, it is as he has said.
I flip it over.
Yes.
I figure out where the vertebrae would be if this was
Sure.
a person.
Yes.
And then I stab through to sever the spinal cord. Quickest death possible.
There's a momentary sort of shudder from the thing, and then it immediately goes still, but your name bleeds out onto the surface of the doll.
That is what you do for family, huh?
Suddenly the doll's back in his hand. He turns it around. There's her name of her own free will. You want to carry on attacking me, little toothed one?
Nazaya takes a monk weapon from her back and rams it into the ground, screams in frustration, and then...
You do have a wonderful temper, but I wonder, what do you truly desire?
You leave her alone, huh?
You face out of here.
Is that a deal?
But I'm not going to sign anything for that.
I didn't think so. Anybody else before I go?
You have got everything that you will get from us. We will talk. You'll see us.
What about the demon child herself? He says, looking at Ixtec, who has now just arrived.
Demon child? I think that's a little harsh.
Accurate, harsh, I don't know. Whatever you prefer. Were you willing to sign the contract?
As I said before, I don't think that's a good idea.
No, I suppose not. What does Daddy want, though? That's the real question.
Well, I suppose if you find my father, you can ask him yourself.
Who says I haven't? I must be going now. Good luck.
Give him my best.
He just vaporizes into this black smoke.
Are the demons approaching, or are they still...
It looks like they've stopped to kill something, as there's a shrieking, wailing sound.
Oh,
in the distance.
is it possibly... is it him?
Roll a d20 for me.
Is it Caltex?
Oh dear.
You're so evil.
I did. Why didn't it? It just fucking... It didn't move.
There is a brief moment where you see a hand reaching up out of this mess of demons, and it appears to be holding your shackles and trying to beat something with it or not, before a demon rips the arm off and you see blood spraying out in all different directions. And yes,
that
you're
perfect justice?
you're
I'm
all
not
seeing
sure.
these demons destroy this individual way off in the distance.
Thorn is holding his staff and very slowly touches it down onto the sand and starts to cast the shadows. Just looking very... Okay.
May sort of sidles towards Thorn.
You are enveloped in your pass without trace, am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Do you continue now deeper into the salt plain?
How many demons were there in the little mob
It's
thing?
difficult to tell. Sometimes you think there were 5. Sometimes it looked like there were 3 big ones. Sometimes it looked like there were 12 little ones. It's almost like they morphing into each other and then splitting apart. It's very difficult to get a count.
It's like trying to count ferrets in a box. They just kind of...
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah. All right.
You're less cute. Yes.
Well, nonetheless, looking at the flat plain, can we see anything that looks like knucklebones, like in the distance?
As your eyes have started to acclimatize to this very bright space rather than the darker areas around it, you can now see it. It looks like a collection of very white rock that almost looks like a ridge line, if you like, and there is definitely smoke coming from that white rock, very black, oily smoke coming from it. That is the only unusual sight that you can see from this distance.
Well, that should be our destination. Let us make haste. We've wasted enough time here.
Okay.
Yes.
D'accord.
Now, who wasted time here?
I'll finish the wine and I'll drop the glass.
All right.
I'll look at Nazire and I'll say, relative term, of course. And Yormund will march towards the shaped ridge.
Towards the shaped ridge. You are making your way slowly towards it. Does it take you half an hour? Does it take you a day? You're not entirely sure. The crunch of the crystals underfoot are an ever-present reminder that this is not happy ground upon which one might sleep. And it takes you, again, time is irrelevant here, but as you're moving between these very white rocks, these very crystalline-like structures, I'm going to need you to please give me a series of checks to make your way. I'm assuming you're trying to be stealthy.
Sure.
Well, you're
Sure.
using pass without trace, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes.
from one of you, you need to get 4 successes before 3 failures. I want from someone a stealth check, please. You do have, it's plus 10, I believe, with pass without trace?
Plus 10.
Yes.
Yep. So someone give me a stealth check with plus 10.
Oh wait,
Anyone?
that's for stealth, not for survival checks. So,
Yeah. Well, this is a stealth check.
It's a stealth check.
okay. Oh, okay.
All right, so
Good 20.
Mademoiselle LaRouge gets a dirty 20. That is a success. I need someone to please, as you start to make your way into this rock-like formation, you realize that this is probably the only rocky area there is. However, you do find in one of the gullies, as you're making your way through, this very strange set of tracks. Or furrows, really. It looks like 2 very deep ditches about a foot in width have been dug through this crystalline structure. And you notice that wherever it's plowed, it looks like blood is seeping out of this white crystal stuff as if it's been wounded. The next person needs to please give me a perception check, as these rocks seem to break at random intervals, dropping great big shards down. So someone other than Mademoiselle Rouge gives me a perception check as you make your way deeper into this ravine. Anybody?
Does anyone have it?
No one is very perceptive.
I'll do it.
You are indeed, as you get your second success on perception. These crystalline structures, you realize that if you get too close to them, they shatter and try to impale you with their shards as they sense your presence nearby. You are now possibly a mile in, and I need someone to give me a survival check, please. Other than Thorn. And me, of course.
We're down to this, are we?
2 successes.
Alright, I'll do it.
Alright.
I'll do it. I'm going to use the Dark One's own luck, which means I can add a d10 to a ability check or saving throw. I mean,
It could have,
wasted.
but it didn't.
It didn't.
It didn't.
Oh well.
As you're moving forward, you start to discover, you would call them cacti. That each one, there's definitely cactus that is growing here, but it's milky white on its surface with great big thorns sticking out, almost spines more than thorns really, sticking out of these cacti. And whilst looking at them, you realize that their roots are the problem, because as you're walking along, their roots seem to puncture out from under the ground, again with the same long spiny thorns that they have. And each of you, as a result of this, take 3 points of damage.
Oh no!
Except for May, who's on Thorn's head, obviously.
Is this actually a plant?
It is. You think?
I mean, I have so many plant spells. It's yeah.
Yes, you can cast a plant spell now that you've been speared.
Oh, I have so many. I want to talk to it.
Okay.
What is happening?
You cast Speak with Plants.
Mm-hmm. I sure do.
And you cast Speak with Plants.
Mm-hmm.
What do you say?
Hey there, little spiky friend.
Die, 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 is all that this cactus is saying back at you.
Yep. Okay. Let's move on.
Die, die, die.
Yep. Okay.
Keep
Thank
shouting
you.
at you.
Bye now. Yeah, that was predictable.
Yeah, you start to realize that as you walk, because the spell still lasts for a while, they're all just shouting variations of "die" or "feed us, feed us, feed us, die."
How many were in like a 30-foot of me when I cast?
Probably about seven of them.
Oh, well, I could speak with all of them at the same time then, so it was a cacophony of
Chorus.
Yeah.
Feed us.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Great.
Lots of anger coming from those plants. I need a religion check, please, from who's left? Who hasn't rolled yet?
Oh.
Oh dear.
Nazire and
done
Yorman
this,
haven't
yeah.
done it.
2 successes, 1 failure. You've got 2 successes to go or 2 failures to go.
All right, I'll give the religion thing a go. Why
You're
not?
very religious.
Yeah, you are a
I mean-
paladin.
Look, I was good at many things. Sadly, my character does not have much in the way of, like, you know, book smarts. 12?
12.
Am I still blessed? Can I add a D4 to it?
No, it
It
lasts
lasts a minute.
But you cast
Oh.
that before your chat.
Well,
with the
time is
devil.
irrelevant here.
Oh wow. Okay, roll me a D10. If you get above a 7, you still have it.
Oh! Oh!
Oh yeah!
So yes, you may.
That's +1.
Yay!
Even with a +1, I'm afraid you fail.
Oh no.
That's a lot of dice for
It's a
nothing.
whole 13. A whole 13. So yes, you are passing bits of crystal shard that keep dropping, trying to impale you. They're these cacti which have impaled you, and you realize that the crystals, some of them have got carvings on them, but whatever those carvings mean, you have no idea. That means from Nazaya, I need, and you are very lucky, an acrobatics check.
Ooh, I can do that. I'm actually not
Famous
bad at
last
that.
words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, you can.
Oh
20.
yeah!
That's 3 successes, 2 failures. We need one of either in order to complete this craziness. And so you are helping everyone move across ravines, around these ridiculously sharp rocks and the like. And so from someone, I need an insight check.
Ooh, I can do that. I can redeem myself. She said.
That is
And
indeed a
she
success. It is,
does!
Yeah.
it is indeed. And so it is that you find yourselves, having moved through this horrific environment, you find yourselves at the very edge, and I'm going to put you on here. I'm going to put you on the map, even though it might seem like you're very close. You are not as close as the map might indicate at this moment. You're looking down upon Fort Knucklebone.
Structures may appear closer than they seem.
Structures may appear closer than they seem. That is indeed true. I'm going to go to the map. This is what you are looking down upon. It is this massive circular space that is clearly a fort-like structure. I don't think I can even zoom out any more than that. So it is this large fort-like structure. The players cannot see the top part of the, sorry, let me get out of this mode. But yes, it is a ringed-like structure. One wall is completely covered in rubbish and junk. That is what you can see. Let me just scrub over here. Let me see if I can get all of you in shot and move that map over. There we go. So
Yay.
that's how small you are in comparison to this large fort. And one of the walls is completely covered in rubbish and junk. Bones, bits of machinery, bits of it's just a collection of rubbish and detritus and the like. The rest of the walls appear to be covered in spikes with very large chains that are gently moving about as snakes might slither. So that's what is happening there. There is a main gate down at the bottom of the map-like structure. Fantasy Grounds is just frozen on me for the moment. There is a large gate at the bottom that allows access, and those deep furrows that you saw before, those deep furrows lead directly into this very large superstructure that is very visible from where you are. The main structure within the camp is this particularly large cathedral-like space made out of bone, bits of the rock crystal and the like. And milling about the towers, these square tower-like structures, they appear to be very small little creatures wandering around. But that is what you see. Around are more of those spike-like cacti growing amongst the spiky walls. And you can see their root systems stretching out in all directions. As a matter of fact, where you are, there are already tendrils directly in front of you that you can see starting to stretch out. I'm just going to put you onto the blocks. The camp seems completely oblivious to your arrival. You are not a mere 15 feet away from this rubbish. You are about 150 feet away, but this is what you can see.
Could you just zoom on that big trash pile for a second? This is an amazing map. I
Yeah.
just love the detail in that big trash pile. There's just
I
so
had a lot
much
of
going
fun.
on. There's some
There
like
is.
ships. There's like a I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
It's like I love it.
I basically went and put everything that Dungeon Fog
Pile
has in terms
everything
of
on top.
broken
There's a
bits.
poor sod in a cage as well.
Yep.
Yes.
There's
Just
a
on
man in a
top.
cage. Yes.
From this distance, can we see what type of people / creatures make up the occupants of the fort?
Yes. Well, yes and no. You can see little characters. They all appear to be wearing these burgundy-like hoods. And maybe it's the distance. Maybe it's the haze. Who knows? But it is definitely... They seem short and very bony. Not skeletons, but just very... Yeah, little short hooded creatures. Some of them are holding staves. Some of them are using pitchforks to pile more stuff onto the trash. But that's what you're seeing. Yes, Kaora.
Speaking of bony, where's Pierre?
Pierre has just been following along
Okay,
behind,
sure.
plodding
Yeah.
along. Unless you tell
a
me
good
otherwise, Pierre is
Right.
just a follower at the moment. Yeah, and you
All right.
also are aware that your spell may be coming to an end.
All right. I think we need to find someone here and discover whether or not we can sneak into a place that'll have one of the infernal engines.
Madame LaRouge, you are trying to be perceptive?
I am looking around.
Remind me what
I,
your glasses do again?
I dropped it in the chat. They are the glasses of eagle kind. I keep thinking of them as the goggles of eagle kind, but they are not that.
Yes.
They allow me advantage on perception wisdom that rely on sight, and also allow me to make out extremely distant creatures and objects as small as 2 feet across.
Right.
I'm hoping I can figure out what those little crawly things are.
Yes, give me a Arcana check.
I shall do that.
You can do it.
You
I
can
see
indeed.
something.
Woo!
Yes, she
Unless
can.
you're greatly mistaken, these look like particularly nasty little creatures known as red caps.
Red caps, like the mushrooms,
Yes.
but less of a fungi, I suppose.
Yes.
Like evil fae.
Very evil fae. Yes. That is what you detect. Looking down, you can probably count about 12 of them in total going on about their business. And then something steps out of the church or the structure that is the main building. It stands about 9 foot tall and is made out of bits of flesh that seem to have been stapled and sewn together. It has one very large head and several arms, and it sort of lumbers over towards one of the little red caps. It grabs it because it was unaware and just rips its head off. And the rest sort of scatter and hide as this thing starts to, it looks like, begin a patrol around the circumference of this fort. And we'll be back next week as we continue with our trial and tribulation of the invasion of Fort Knucklebone.
Don't let that be Maggie, please.
I'm very sure that's Maggie.
No.
Big shout
I
out
think it
to
might be Maggie.
our wonderful sponsors, and that's Dungeon Fog. We'll start with Dungeon Fog for allowing us to create these awesome maps. As everyone was saying, I really did have fun
so
creating
cool.
this graveyard. So yes, Dungeon Fog, big thanks to them. And what big thanks also to World Anvil for allowing us to keep all of our lore and characters there, and to Fantasy Grounds for allowing us to come together and play and witness all of these awesome maps and the roles, of course, that go along with it, and all of the lore, etc., that I have been referencing in today's show, and to... I've gone blank. And to Dungeons and Dragons, the game I've only been playing for 20 years. Plus, to them, I say a big thank you, because you guys are absolutely awesome. And of course, to my wonderful players. Who knew striking a deal could be so tough? Anyway.
I went with it.
You did eventually. 2 out of 5. I'll take that as a win. Anyway, join us for Afterlife if you want to chat to this crazy cast or myself. We run that in the next 5 minutes or so after we've had a brief break. And that's on twitch.tv/greatgm. Join us for that. And ask your questions of the cast, like what were you thinking, why, who, etc. Anyway,
Why?
if not, you can catch the show again on YouTube on Wednesday on the official Dungeons and Dragons channel on YouTube, or in 2 weeks' time on the Great GM channel. Have a look out for that if you want to scrutinize the decision making that's been going on. There were some interesting little Easter eggs in today's show. If you caught them, bully for you. If you didn't, well, you can watch it again. And of course, remember, help cast your vote in the demon devil war. Let's see who will win this blood war. Demons are definitely in the minority at the moment. So anyway, until next time, thank you all for watching, and I wish you and yours the very happiest of gaming.